Hey everybody, it's Jimmy V. By the end of this video, I'm going to teach you some advanced strategies on how veterans can take advantage of home ownership, number one, and number two, utilizing the seller to pay for things like your liabilities at closing, and even, yes, I said this, even ask the seller to buy out your current lease. So here's the deal. A lot of veterans, especially in this market, are asking questions about something called seller concessions. What is seller concessions? Well, simply stated, seller concessions is when you want to go out and purchase a home, right? You identify a home, you're qualified with me or somebody else to go out and utilize a VA home loan, and you say, hey, Mr. Seller, and they say, yes, Mrs. Veteran. And you say, hey, I want to buy your house, but I want to ask you to pay for the costs in conjunction with the purchase and the loan. And they say, oh, really? And you say, yeah, it's a buyer's market now. They say, okay, we want to sell you the house. And at the end of the day, it's a competitive market because now we're competing for you as the buyer. It's not the same market that it was a year ago. So they say, hey, Mrs. Veteran, we'll pay for 2% of the purchase price towards closing costs and prepaid items. You say, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal, but you know what? I was thinking for a little bit more. And they say, really? You go, yeah, actually, really. So let me break it down for you. Okay? The reality of the situation is this. You, as the veteran, can request up to 4% of the purchase price towards seller concessions back to you at closing that you can apply towards the costs in conjunction with the loan. But here's kind of the tricky part of it. If you read the fine print in the VA guidelines, here's what it says. It says, do not include normal or customary costs in conjunction with the loan, like closing costs, when determining whether or not the seller concessions exceed 4%. Now, Jimmy, what the hell does that mean? Right? So I'm going to tell you what it means. The reality of the situation is that you as the veteran can use excess funds not included in that 4% figure to essentially apply it towards paying off debts in order to qualify, like an auto loan or a credit card. And in fact, you can even utilize those seller concessions towards, well, paying off your existing lease. So let's say, for example, you've got a lease that is not going to expire for another 3 months, and you don't want to have to pay $6,000 at closing to break your lease. Well, guess what? You can now list that lease on the closing disclosure and request that the seller pay it off in closing, all to sell you their home. A friend of mine likes to say, his name's Tucker Blaylock, I'll give him a shout. He says, opportunities of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. If you're a veteran watching this video, I want you to know that this kind of season has shifted in your favor, this season of the veteran home buyer, where you are able to negotiate on your behalf with the seller. So if this is a strategy that you want to consider utilizing, make sure that you roger up with your real estate professional and your mortgage advisor, somebody like myself, and that you put together a plan of attack in advance of you submitting this offer. If you have more questions about VA seller concessions and how they work, I want you to know that my team and I are always here to be a resource. Go ahead and consider dropping a comment down below, liking the video if you found it to be of value, and subscribing to the channel. Jimmy V, we'll see you at the top. Take care.